If you watched the last video, you'll know that I waited 7 months for this camera to arrive. And I used to use the X100T. They're very similar, but there are still a lot of differences. And I feel like the 6 is a totally new camera because of all the new dials, and then you have this flip out screen. All these new things on this camera is different. It's like everything is the same, but different. And it's actually quite fun with all the tactile dials and everything. So I'm gonna try to use this as my everyday camera. On a whim, I decided to make a quick trip to San Francisco, and the weather was cool and very misty with fog when I got there, but it made my first stop at the Dayon Museum looks extra nice. Then right after that, I wanted to check out this new photo spot I found. It's called Marin County Civic Center, but it was further up north and I didn't have much time left. Therefore, I had to leave the museum early.
How you guys doing?
Oh, good. How are you?
Good. What are you guys trying to do?
Oh, I'm just, I thought the building looks cool. Just take photos around here. Yeah, it's okay?
Yeah.
Okay, good to know. Just don't want to, bother you guys or anything. The sun also came out when I got there, which is perfect for this place because it really accentuated the color of the building and added a lot more characters with light and shadow. The downside is that it got really hot in the building, like very hot. After using the Fujifilm X100VI, I say the ergonomic of the camera, it's a little different than I expected, or maybe I'm just not as familiar with it anymore compared to the T. I feel like the Ricoh has better ergonomics somehow, even though it's a smaller, tinier camera. And no, I don't have thumb grips on both of these cameras, so maybe adding a thumb grip to the Fujifilm would help. But I was using the camera mainly with a wrist strap from Peak Design, and I was also using the 1/4 Nisi mist filter. I was going on a tight schedule that day and only had less than an hour or so to explore this building, but was still able to grab some shots that I really like. So I would totally recommend checking it out whenever you're in town. Probably should have spaced things out a bit more so I have more time to explore. Anyways, there's a lot more photos from this short trip, but I'll post them on Instagram instead for those of you who are interested. And don't forget to say hi if you ever visit my Instagram. Overall though, I would say it's well worth the drive considering how enjoyable the shoot was. So yes, instead of the Ricoh that I've been carrying in my pocket, which I still have right now, man, how long has it been? 3-4 years now? I'm gonna try a different everyday camera. And it's gonna be weird, I think, at first, but also quite exciting. I feel like there's gonna be a lot of change. Don't worry, the Ricoh will always have a special place in my heart, and this is not forever. Speaking of the GR3, I actually had the 3X for the longest time, maybe 6 months or so. That has been my daily carry camera for a while until I switched back to the 3 because I just really fell in love with the 28mm look. If you know what I'm talking about, it's a very distinct look, especially for street photography. If you see like wider focal length, 24 or 28, it just hits different. And it's also very versatile focal length to capture life, to document every day, whatever that's going on. So that's why I switched to the 3 instead of the 3X. But not to say that the 3X is bad or anything. Like the 40mm, I feel like if I have to choose one focal length for street photography, 40mm is the one I'll go with. So I say the 35mm is kind of like a medium point between 28 and 40. And honestly, if I really wanted 40, I can just reach my arm out and, okay, this is not scientifically tested or anything, but it's only 5mm away, so I would expect that I reach my arm out, and then this is closer to 40. So that's why I feel like the 35mm might be a good idea to use as my everyday carry camera. And on top of that, usually the 35mm comes with f2 or f1.4, and that just gives you a lot more varieties of ways to shoot or to really portray the subject however you want it to be. And at the same time, it's still wide enough to capture more in the frame compared to the 40. Not that big of a difference, but still, you get more in the frame. So the goal is to use this camera as my daily camera, like everyday camera. Oh, this looks great too, oh my goodness. I'm actually quite surprised by the build quality from Freewell. Like, it's very solid. And before I get into this filter, one of the reasons why, okay, so I got this Nisi filter, well, lens hood to be exact, and I also got the filter because I can use it on my Ricoh, and I've been using that for a while too. So here's the Nisi Mist 1/4, which I love. I have this filter on pretty much on all of my lens whenever I'm not shooting client work, and that's why I got it for my Ricoh and also the Fujifilm. However, I didn't have the camera at that time when this filter arrived, I mean this lens hood, so I didn't really test it. But this is what happens. Like, this is super not sealed, like this is very loose. For some reason, it's supposed to seal tight and then stay tight, but this is very loose. So whenever I tilt my camera downwards and then I shake a little bit, I walk around, and then this thing will just fall. Like the lens cap and then also the lens hood, and it's just very, very finicky. Like the whole thing is very loose. I think I got a defect because I had Nisi filters before, and all of them are very, like, you know, strong, solid, feels good in the hand, just not this one. And because I didn't have my camera until like a couple weeks ago, which is like 7 months after I pre-ordered it, and I had these like 7 months ago, I never used it on this camera, there's no way I can return these anymore, which is, you know, which sucks. So now I have this one from Freewell. No, I don't like this. So I'm gonna go back and see if I can find the lens hood for my Fujifilm, which I really hope I still do. And I feel like this looks amazing. Oh my goodness. Now it is a CPL and mist filter altogether, so you do lose a couple stops of light, but I think, you know, I'm gonna give it a try and see, because it's more versatile this way. I can shoot, you know, theory like reflections, carb, water, anything that deals with the circular polarizer. And it doesn't look too bad at all. I kind of dig this. The design is very interesting. Here, take a look. That's how you adjust the CPL filter. That's fantastic. This is great so far. I'm gonna leave all the links down in the description, so if you're interested, check it out and then take a look.